Hello everyone, Thor here. I just want to take this opportunity to highlight a game that I don't think it's talked about nearly enough. I mean, I know it did well and is pretty popular, but it came out pretty much the same week as Breath of the Wild, so kind of got overshadowed as they're very different games. But I just wanted to talk to you guys about why my experience playing Horizon Zero Dawn was better than Legend of Zelda. I know that might be a controversial take, and I have my reasons, and I just, wanted to discuss them and maybe share it with some people that haven't given Horizon a shot. It's a fantastic game. Might be my favorite game of this generation. I've been a huge Uncharted fan, and Uncharted 4 was a very, very good game, but I find myself coming back to Horizon often, and it's a great expansion as well. And I recently started playing it again, so I kind of wanted to talk about it. And on the other hand, I finally finished Breath of the Wild. I know it is still a good, very, very good game, but I found myself not wanting to finish it, and that's what we'll talk about is the story. The story of Breath of the Wild mostly is told through flashbacks and get like little tidbits, but Link's a silent protagonist. There's not much to flesh out, where Aloy on Horizon Zero Dawn has a really good character arc. She has a interesting backstory, and it's got a good story about it's a different take on the apocalypse. There's plenty of post-apocalypse games, but the whole thing at Horizon is, hey, it's post-apocalyptic and there's robot dinosaurs, and that's pretty much the selling point. And fighting those robot dinosaurs is a lot of fun, and it can be tough, and there's a lot of different strategies. So I'll get to that, but the story though, and there's gonna be no spoilers, but with Breath of the Wild, you kind of know where you're going with it. The end game, there's a build up to it, but from the beginning. And it's the same with every Zelda. It's always Link against Ganon, no, pretty much for the most part. And I will say, like, this is probably my favorite 3D Zelda game. Ocarina of Time, or maybe Majora's Mask, but I actually really prefer the top-down views. Like, I grew up and I love A Link to the Past. It's one of my favorite games as well. One of my favorite games on the Super Nintendo. But I like games with good stories, and that's why Horizon really appealed to me, because it's definitely interesting. The characters you meet are interesting, and I actually wanted to do the side quest in these games in Horizon, because it is very, you expanded on all the characters, and you got to get more of their backstories, and it kind of impacted like the world a little bit. Whereas a lot of the side quests in Breath of the Wild are kind of like, they're very game mechanic-y, like, oh, can you glide this far? Can you climb this high? It's like a lot of it's like collections and like fetch quests, and I just think the side quests are a lot more interesting in Horizon. And if that's appealing to you, it's another good reason to play it. And the overarching story as a whole, I don't think anyone will argue that that Breath of the Wild is a better story than Horizon, because it just doesn't. It just doesn't have a strong story. It is still, like I said, it's apples and oranges. They're fantastic games, and they're both right. And, you should definitely play both of them. But if you missed out on Horizon, it's definitely an opportunity. And speaking of that, another big open world game is The Witcher 3, which I haven't played yet, but I'm working towards it. So far, I beat Witcher 1 when it first came out, and I need to finish 2. I got sidetracked, and I kind of want to do the trilogy again. So I'll get to that later. But another thing is combat. Like, in Horizon, I feel like the combat is fine. Like, the basic enemies in Horizon are a lot more interesting. You kind of figure out a way to beat them, but they give you a lot of tools to experiment with. Like, you can take many things down by using stealth, but if you're really good at the game, you can fight on a lot of creatures at once. If you're good with the bow and setting traps, and it's a lot of fun with like the variations. And I just had a lot of encounters in the game. Like, Zelda's definitely got better, bigger, like, bosses, big boss battles that were, like, kind of different and interesting. So Zelda definitely takes it on that. But overall combat, I had more fun with Horizon, because I feel like, and I might be the only one, but I feel like Zelda's combat's easily exploitable. I mean, it's kind of been the same for years, and I feel like if you're really good at parrying, you can defeat anything pretty easily, and I got really good at it. And also, I had the enhanced Master Sword. I found the Master Sword quest pretty easy. I struggled with the first part of it for a bit, but once I beat that, I beat the next two parts in one or two tries, and now I mostly just use my Master Sword till it depletes, and then wait till it recharges. I also can't stand the weapon degradation system. Is a nightmare. It gets annoying. It can just be really annoying. So, but Zelda, the world's beautiful. It's fun to explore. It looks, good. They definitely look way different. They're beautiful games in different ways, and I also really enjoy exploring Horizon, and I kind of like the exploration aspect in Horizon a little bit better because you have to constantly go and find all the shrines in Breath of the Wild, and that can get kind of tedious, and some of the shrine puzzles are better than others. So I think they did probably too many shrines. I don't know. Some of them just seem like they could have been cut out and it would have been fine, but it adds more playability, I guess. So, yeah. And then with Horizon, it kind of goes along with the game, how stuff opens up. It's kind of story progressed, but after a while, everything's pretty open. And, I platinumed Horizon, so I kind of explored every inch of that. Whereas I recently completed Breath of the Wild, but I think the ending was a little disappointing. But you're not playing Breath of the Wild for the story. It's just the way it is. And in that regard, I think you should definitely give Horizon a shot for its great story. It looks really nice. Traveling the land's a lot of fun, and there's just a lot that got looked over because of how big Zelda was. And like I said, everyone's entitled to their opinion. I just wanted to give my thought on it because I'm excited for Horizon Zero Dawn 2, and I assume they're going to be showing a lot of that at this event. So it really surprised me coming from Guerrilla because they're known for Killzone, and Killzone was kind of a heavy shooter. I liked it, but it was not the Halo killer it's supposed to be. So as much as I wanted it to be, but it wasn't there. And you can't go wrong playing either game. I just think that if you passed on Horizon, it's $10 right now for the full set, and there's not much that's out right now. It's definitely worth digging into, and I'd love to hear everyone's thoughts and experiences. I definitely had a different experience with both games and definitely got many hours out of both of them. So looking forward to the sequel of both. I'm just hoping that maybe some people will give this one a shot. So with that, Thor out.